Most parents are wary of the so-called heavy metal music.
Salut à tous, Metal Excess, c'est l'essentiel de l'actualité métal et dérivé en quelques minutes, le tout en images, en musique et en interview. Metal Excess est une exclusivité Refix by Crédit Mutuel, la plateforme de toutes les musiques, tous les talents en partenariat avec Artforce. C'est parti! Ils ont fait vibrer les scènes du monde entier depuis près de 30 ans au son de leur punk celtique rageur et fraternel. Dropkick Murphys reviennent aujourd'hui avec For the People, un 13e album qui célèbre autant une fidélité à la flamme originelle qui les anime depuis leur début que la force du renouveau, symbolisée par la rose noire de sa pochette. L'énergie brute des débuts est intacte, entre héritage du punk et les racines irlandaises et regard lucide sur l'époque, et Ken Casey, son chanteur, nous livre à présent dans Metal Excess un message de résistance et d'espoir que le groupe est venu partager sur scène en France. L'album est sorti depuis peu en physique, mais sa parution remonte initialement à plusieurs mois. Quel accueil a-t-il reçu?
People seem to understand, how important it is and how important it is to us. I think the album title has two different meanings. For the People is kind of like a thank you, like say our music is, and everything we do is about you, the listener. But the larger, more important title at the moment really represents trying to rally the people to stand up against authoritarianism that's taking hold in America and in other places in the world, and unite working people, regular people, because it's the same old tactic that's been used throughout time where the wealthy and the powerful divide the people by pitting them against each other over, in America now, topics like immigration, sexual identity, racism, just it's so obvious, but the people fall for it, and it's sad. Right now America is run by like whoever talks the loudest and lies the most and the fastest, and we need to slow it down and really get back to our senses, trying to get power back to the people, try to get kindness back, try to treat people with civility instead of just yelling.
Sur ce disque, le groupe a utilisé les mêmes amplis qu'en 1997, lorsqu'il a enregistré son premier album, Do or Die. Est-ce le fait du hasard ou le souhait de capturer l'énergie des débuts?
We were looking for, not necessarily to get back to matching that sound by any means, but we just happened to be told that a couple of the early amps were owned by other people, but they were around and willing to let us use them, so it just seemed like a cool thing to do, and I think it worked.
The blood of those also symbolizes change, renewal, rebirth, and beginning.
À un moment où la liberté d'expression est prônée par les extrêmes alors qu'ils font tout pour museler la contestation, ne se sont-ils pas parfois découragés?
We're a punk band. If you're not ready to be in the fight, why are you even making new music? I just don't understand how anyone could make new music now and not address this subject. It would seem so unauthentic to do that. That's just not how we would ever operate. But then again, we've been a band that's been about this very thing since we started, so it's more important now than ever, so why would we not be louder than ever? Been a long tradition of protest music, and all those people have influenced Dropkick Murphys. Punk music, Americana, American folk music, all forms of protest music, punk, everything that's inspired us as music fans has been in that vein. So we take it as like a badge of honor to carry on that tradition.
À travers les réseaux, on a l'impression que Dropkick Murphys reçoit beaucoup plus de critiques négatives pour son engagement qu'on entend son public fidèle le soutenir. Les gens baissent-ils les bras?
I think a lot of the comments you see negatively online are two things. One, a lot of bots. Literally, when you look at a negative comment and then you look at the commenter, 0 followers, 0 posts, it's a robot. It's not even a person. And then you also have this very small but very vocal minority of the MAGA army online who just spend their whole day going after anybody who dares to speak out, and it's intimidated a lot of people into silence, because who really wants to have all their comments or everything about their business? If you're a band, it's your comments. If you're a business, it's your reviews online. But we need to be better than worried about that. And I think that we could so easily just take that narrative back if everyone just said, fuck this, I'm speaking up, I'm not gonna be silent anymore. And we think that we would love to see what we're doing just inspire 1, 2, 3, 4 other bands, and maybe 100 other fans, maybe 1,000 other fans. But that all raises the, stakes for democracy, the voice of democracy getting louder. This is not democracy in America, not even close right now.
S'il s'est fixé d'éclairer les consciences, cela fait-il peser sur lui une certaine pression quand il écrit?
No, we just do what comes naturally to us. I don't think, because we want... Dropkick Murphys doesn't need to be the voice of a political scientist. Dropkick Murphys needs to be a voice of the people, and that's just us. So if I write a song that speaks for me, and I feel like it's a song that speaks for a lot of other people like me. And a lot of other people, there's more of us that worry about, raising our children and paying our bills and taking care of our elderly parents, and than there are of the people who worry about what planet they're gonna send their rocket to next. So why are we not all? Why is it that so few are controlling us all?
Come back now if you were out there in the crowd, that I turned out okay, and
For the People est aussi l'occasion pour Ken de rendre hommage à ceux qui ont aidé à façonner ce qu'ils sont, comme son grand-père auquel il rend hommage dans la chanson Chesterfields and Aftershave. Pourquoi ce disque était le bon moment pour le faire?
Because I think I often wonder what my grandfather would think if he had been alive, to see everything that's happened with the band success-wise, but I think he'd be most proudest of how we are handling this very moment, because he had always taught me as a young kid to never take shit from a bully, and I always better stand up to a bully, and that's kind of what's happening now. And just raised me, he taught me a lot about the things that shaped my politics too. Like, he was a union guy and very, very pro-worker himself, and he would not have liked what was happening in America now, and he would like that we used our voice to do so. The title of the song, being just like his scent, you know, like a combination of cigarettes and that like old man aftershave. And the point I'm trying to get across with that is like, sometimes you learn the most from someone when you're just in their orbit, right? Watching, it wasn't necessarily what he told me, it was I watched how he lived his life. I watched how he spoke to others. I watched how he stood up for himself and others, and you know, that whole just being in his presence, and nothing signified being in his presence more than just always smelling like he just went like that and then had a cigarette, you know.
Le titre The Big Man rend hommage aussi à une autre figure emblématique de la scène punk californienne, Fletcher Drake, le guitariste de Pennywise.
I actually witnessed him when Kid Rock was on the Warped Tour. And what would happen on the Warped Tour back in the day is you had your two main stages and your two side stages. And the owner of the tour, Kevin Lyman, would often book a band on the side stage, maybe say in December or something, and by the time the summer came around, that band on the side stage would have a massive radio hit, and maybe they're the biggest band on the tour, and the band would always say, hey, we want to be on the main stage, and Kevin would say, do you expect me to take a band that was already on the main stage, like a Pennywise or Dropkick Murphys, who's been loyal to the Warped Tour, and I've been loyal to them, and because you have a flavor of the month hit, I'm going to put them down, and Kid Rock was getting in the face of the owner of the tour, and Fletcher was like the protector of the tour, and he went over and he had a bunch of gold chains. He took them and ripped them right off of Kid Rock, and then literally picked them up over his head and threw them in the bushes. So and the song references him ripping the chains off Kid Rock, and that was just the most like, whoa. And Kid Rock did not ask to be on the main stage again. So, and he would haze a lot of bands. He didn't really haze us, but he did used to shoot me with a BB. But that was more out of like, he did that to his friends. Like the bands he was hazing, he kind of scared. He never tried to scare us, and we count our blessings for that. He accepted us as a peer right from the start. But he's a dear friend, and he just brings an element of fun and chaos at the same time, and we feel like we captured his element in that song.
Selon les versions de l'album CD ou vinyle, il y a des titres bonus dont A Hero Among Many qui se détachent du lot.
There was a gentleman by the name of Wells Crowther who was a Boston College graduate, and he was a volunteer fireman, but then he went on to work in finance, and he was in the building in 9/11, and he did not survive, but many of the survivors would tell this story of how a guy wearing a red bandana tied over his nose had carried them down all these flights of stairs, and then went back up and carried more people down. And Wells used to have a red bandana that his father always wore, so he always had the red bandana on him, whether it was in his pocket or whatnot. And his mother happened to stumble upon several people, you know, in articles, several people mentioning the man in the red bandana, and you know, they put two and two together and realized that he was the one that saved, you know, 20 plus people. Boston College has a game every year, a football game every year that they call the Red Bandana Game, and they change the uniforms to be with the bandana and the numbers, and the fans all wear the red bandana, and it's just a very cool story. And you know, there's been a documentary made about it, but we feel like a lot of people don't know about it, and we wanted to write the song to help, you know, spread the word.
Le groupe est en France ces derniers jours. Comment aborde-t-il ses concerts dans un pays où il se produit depuis plus de 25 ans?
I mean, the fans in France have treated us with such kindness, and they're usually very inspiring shows to us here. I feel like France has really accepted Dropkick Murphys, and it's nice to feel so welcome and at home here. And anytime the audience gives such passion to us, it makes us give it back 10 times more, and the shows just have an electricity here in France, and we're super excited to play the new album as well.
Climb the stairs and perish here in bed. Still my enemies are many and the vultures.
You know, you're talking about a country that has a strike over anything, so they're ready. They understand the power the people have when they activate, and that this album is desperately calling for that kind of activism in America. Please, France, come to America and help us. And that's what we need. We need that spirit. So yet another reason why the country of France is very inspirational to Dropkick Murphys. We need our people to act like that.
We're falling for the trap. We're turning on each other.
Sometimes when you have a thing like this, you're doing TV and press, and you're saying, like, how did I get here? I never left Boston before the band, and sometimes it just seems very surreal that you're in another country talking to people about culture and politics, because my world before the band was so small in the sense I never got to leave Boston. I didn't know many other cultures, so that I have to be grateful for the band for being the vehicle to give me the opportunity to grow as a person and to meet so many other people from all over the world.
One thing I'll never comprehend is how they turn us on our sisters.
Même si le constat actuel est difficile, qu'est-ce qui pourrait lui donner de l'espoir dans l'avenir?
I guess in America, I would say that there has been a lot more, like we have the things called the No Kings Day protests, and you're talking millions and millions of people protesting and coming out. You see that there's strength in numbers. And I think, just like Dropkick Murphys is saying, this speaking up hopefully inspires another band. When the people see on the TV at home that there's millions and millions of people taking to the streets, I think that gives other people so I need to get out there as well. So I hopefully it's a sign of our numbers growing in terms of the resistance, so that gives me hope.
À noter sur vos tablettes les sorties discographiques récentes ou à paraître dans les prochains jours. Metal Excess, c'est terminé pour aujourd'hui. On se retrouve dans 15 jours pour un nouveau numéro avec toujours plus d'interviews, de surprises et de contenus inédits. Un immense merci pour votre fidélité et n'oubliez pas de prolonger l'expérience métal sur riffix.fr. Salut!